Hey guys, welcome back. This is another awesome video for, this is gonna be a sick video for everybody. I'm your host, Stan Medina. Massive action. You gotta take massive action, man. Come on. So today's video is about how to get hired. Okay, so I know in today's world, there's so many jobs, job hiring platforms, and you go to these platforms. Some of them you have to actually pay. Some of them you have to be a member. Some of them, whatever the case, you have to submit a resume. And if you're not too familiar with how to write a resume, it could get kind of frustrating. And so I'm gonna give you some tips. I'm not gonna say tricks. I'm just gonna say tips, because they're not tricks. You're not tricking anybody, but they are tips to help you get the job that you want. And help you, go from, if you're making minimum wage, to get into a trade, get into a bigger company, and to make that transition and to stand out, because that's what it comes down to. How are you going to stand out? When you're being compared to about 50 applicants, how are you going to stand out? So today's video is how to get hired. So tip number one is you got to target a company. So if you're looking for a job, you don't want to just send your resume out to all these companies and hopefully one of them will call you back. Figure out what kind of industry you want to be in. If you want to be in the automotive industry, okay, what kind of automotive industry? Do you want to be in the mechanic side? Do you want to be in the body shop side? If you want to be in the financial industry, okay, do you want to be in like the loan side? Do you want to be the financial advisor side? Do you want to be on the banking side? Any industry, they have different categories within that industry. So first of all, decide what you're interested in. Say, you know what? I would like to seek a job in the law industry. Okay, maybe like an attorney. Okay, so if you're not an attorney, you might have to apply as a secretary or an assistant. So you have to work your way up into that industry. So like I said, target the company or the industry that you're wanting to go, and focus just on putting applications within that industry. Okay, I would recommend finding 10 top places you would want to work, and figure out, okay, I'm going to target these places, and out of these 10 places, if I do these tips correctly, I should land an interview, or I could even land a permanent position into one of these companies. Okay, so how to stand out. Okay, that's the thing. Whenever you're putting applications in and you're applying for places, you want to stand out, because the person on the other end is probably reviewing about 10 to 15 applications a day, and they're just going through these applications, and after a while they start to look the same, because everybody's has that mindset of let me make a good resume, let me make a perfect resume that's going to stand out. Okay, and that's where the problem comes up, because a resume, it's going to have all your information, yes, but the manager or the person on the other end has some questions that they need to answer for themselves. Okay, so one of the key things is you got to remember is you got to think like an owner. So whenever you're applying for a job, think of what information the owner or whoever on the other end, what information they're going to want. Because if you're getting advice on how to write a resume, you're thinking like an employee, and you're just saying, oh, I got to write a good resume, I got to make my resume look good. But you have to think about a manager, because a manager and an owner gets a bunch of good resumes. But how are you going to stand out? That's the thing. If you can stand out amongst 10 resumes, I guarantee you're probably going to get an interview. So that's what's holding you back. You got to start to think like an owner. Okay, what information will that owner want, or that person that's going to be interviewing me wants, so I can give them that information up front. So number one is going to be, it's not going to be number one. These are just a bunch of tips. Give as much information as possible. And it sounds crazy, and it sounds like, what are you talking about? Give as much information. On your resume, give them as much information as you can. And I'm talking about, like, give them whatever schools you went to, where you worked at, and even explain why you left that place, and make sure you don't fall into the habit of making an excuse. Oh, my boss didn't like me, or Don't make an excuse like if it was the other person's fault. If you were late, if something happened, you gotta just fess up and be responsible for that thing. Say, you know what, I was late a couple of times, and the place didn't allow that, but that's why I'm not longer there. But I'm working on fixing that habit, and I believe I can do better the next time around. So give as much information and be as transparent as possible. That's going to help you. Facebook, Instagram, social media platforms. This is a common problem within the workforce industry. Someone will spend hours and hours perfecting the perfect resume. They'll get people to proofread it and read this, and what do you think? Do you think the words are right? And they put all this information. I can guarantee you that whenever the other person on that other end gets that resume, they want to know who you are. So a lot of companies, they actually have people that will do like a background check, research. Okay, I want you to find out some information on this person. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go to your Facebook, Instagram. They're going to Google your name. They're going to see what your name is associated to. And a lot of times, if your resume looks perfect, you spend hours on it, but then your Facebook shows that you're partying and that you're just being out of control. You just lost it. So decide if you want to take your career seriously, because if you want to take your career seriously and you want to take your income level to the next level, you gotta consider those platforms, because that's public information. If you're like, well, that's my personal life, well, you know what? A lot of times businesses don't want that kind of activity in the business, because you can't separate them two. You can't say, well, yeah, when I'm at business, I'm all professional and I'm I have my habits and I'm on point. But as soon as you get off work, you live a different life. It's going to be too hard to balance that. You can't balance that. You can't live a double life, because something's going to give at one time. So you have to make that decision. Say, okay, let me go to my Facebook first. Let me see how that looks, because I'm pretty sure the job place, they're going to do some research on me. And if that looks like crap, then I can probably sure you're not going to get the job. So Facebook, Instagram, make sure you clean all that stuff up. And so you don't want to make it fake either. So if you're going to say, oh, well, I'm going to post all this fake stuff, and eventually what's going to happen is your true identity is going to come out, and you're going to get fired from that job because you lied about something or you're just being fake. So be as transparent as possible on your resume. Share your social media platforms on your resume. Nobody's doing that now. Share those platforms on your resume and be as transparent as possible. I guarantee you it's going to help you. Okay? This is going to be very, very powerful. If you're not good at writing a very good resume and sharing all your skills and sharing your experience, make a YouTube video. Make a YouTube video. Look for a photographer. Look for someone that can actually film you with good quality sound, and make a YouTube video. And your video is not going to be public. It's not going to be everybody. You can actually attach that link to your resume. So if you're doing like an online resume, you can actually attach that link. So when they open up your resume, they can actually just click the link and they're going to go to your video. And check this out. So on YouTube, you can actually make the video private to only people you share your link with. So if you send your resumes out to 10 businesses and it has a YouTube video attached to it, you can actually see how many people looked at your video. So you can actually track, okay, you know what? Somebody's looking at my video. So I sent 10 applications out, 5 people are looking at it. That's good news. That means that someone's watching your stuff. So the YouTube video is going to be very, very helpful. I helped a lot of people get jobs like this because they had a good character, they had a lot of good strengths, and it was hard for them to communicate that on paper. So I said, dude, just make a video. Share about what your passion is, share about what you want to achieve for yourself, share stuff about your family, share that stuff, and I guarantee you it's gonna create a connection with that business, and they're gonna want to talk to you. So, and then tell them what kind of value you're gonna add to that company. If you're a good people person, say, you know what, I believe I can add value because I'm a good people person. I'm very organized. I'm a great listener. I take directions well. I want to learn. I'm very disciplined. My hours are flexible. Say I'm flexible from this time to this time. At my past job, I never called in sick. I don't believe in calling in sick. Share that information. I guarantee you the person on the other end is going to like that information because they're not going to have to, set up an interview with you. They're not going to have to go around trying to get this information. And I'm going to tell you why being transparent is going to help you so much. Okay, so openness is key. Okay, and you can also share if you have a car, if you have a driver's license, you have a savings account. What's your credit score? Share all this stuff. I guarantee you, it's gonna help. It's gonna help get you into the door of that business that you want to be at. And the reason why I tell you this is because as business owners, they're restricted to ask certain kind of questions. Okay. They can't ask you what your credit score is. They can't ask you, hey, do you have any kids? They can't ask you certain things. So by you just giving them this information freely, it's going to help answer a lot of the questions that they have within, because they can't just straight up ask you these questions. So being transparent is going to help you tremendously, because everybody else is going to be writing a traditional resume, with all this stuff that it doesn't even really, a lot of times it doesn't make sense. You're just trying to sell yourself, and as managers, as owners, you'll start to see through that. And one thing too, if you've had multiple jobs, like if you've only been at jobs for a short period of time, you might want to explain why that's possible. If you only worked somewhere for 2 months, here 2 months, here 2 months, they're going to say, man, this person jumps around. I wonder what's behind that. So be transparent about it. Say, you know what? Yeah, when I got out of high school, or, I was going through a bad time in my life. I was just trying to make ends meet. I worked here, I worked there, but I always want to stay busy. Now I really want to settle down at a business. I want to stay there long term, and share that information. If you plan to be there temporary, just say, you know what? I'm looking for something temporary. If you want something long term, say, look, I want something long term. I'm tired of jumping around. I feel like I'm at the age where I want to, kind of just stay at one company and help that company grow. I want to be part of a team. Share all that information. I guarantee it's going to help you. So, how to get hired? Oh, another thing too. Figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are. And I talk to a lot of people, and I ask this question quite often. I said, I ask them, tell me some of your strengths. Oh, they name all their strengths. Well, tell me some of your weaknesses. Man, I really don't have any weaknesses. Well, by saying that you don't have any weaknesses, it's really saying that you don't really even know yourself. So one way that you can find your strengths and weaknesses is to ask family members and friends. And so ask them to say, hey, what do you think I'm good at? What do you think I'm not good at? And I guarantee you, when you ask them, take that feedback and don't get defensive. Take it as positive feedback that's going to help you, because now you can start to identify what you're good at and what you're not good at, and you can put that on paper. You can say, you know what? I've been told that I work good alone. I've been told that I'm not very organized, and it's not going to hurt you if you can be transparent with those strengths and weaknesses. That company will know if you're a fit for them. And let me tell you something about companies. Every company owner, every business owner knows that nobody's perfect. So someone might be stronger in one area and someone might not. For example, you might say, you know what? Everybody tells me I'm a hard worker. I never give up, but I'm not very organized. So a business owner might say, man, you know what? We have someone that's very organized that's not a good worker. Maybe if I put them together, they can complement each other and they can become a good team. So you always want to know what your strengths and weaknesses are, because that company might be looking for someone with that strength or that weakness to partner up with somebody to make a good team. So let me tell you why those companies like to partner people up with, because 2 people working together is the same as 3 people working together. Let me kind of tell you that again. So if you can combine 2 people with different strengths, that's the same power of 3 people working together. If you can combine 3 people working together, all with different strengths and different weaknesses, that's the same of 5 people working together. So it starts to compound the production and everything. So that's how business owners think. So part of the problem why you haven't got the job or why nobody's returning your call is because you're thinking like an employee. So these tips will help you start to think like an owner, like a business owner, or like a manager, to help you get that interview, to help you get the job you want, to help you make more money, so you can take care of your family and start taking massive action. Thank y'all guys for watching. Talk to you later.